Florida is looking to beat Florida State on the trail again this season, and they're doing it in head-to-head fashion this cycle. They did it overall last season, right? They won a couple of head-to-head battles with Andy Jean and Ron Kearney, but there are way more head-to-head battles with Florida State this year, and we're going to tell you about some big ones here today. First up, Makai Danzy. Let's start with a recruit right in FSU's backyard. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It is going to be hard to steal him. This guy's a 4-star athlete out of Tallahassee, Florida, but he's not just out of Tallahassee, Florida. He literally goes to Florida State University School. That is Florida State's high school. So in theory, this should be a layup for the Noles. But not so fast. He's visited UF on Thursday and has UF in his top 3. It cannot be understated how big this would be for Billy Napier and staff if they pulled him away from the Noles. This is not just pulling a kid out of Tallahassee. This is pulling them literally out of the university's backyard. Florida State has apparently always been his dream school, but it sounds like he's being really deliberate in his decision-making process. He's looking at UF, he's looking at Florida State, he's looking at Miami. This is a running back that Florida would love to grab. He is also a really good track star, which I have no idea if he plans on doing both sports in college or not, but obviously UF would be the track program to do that in if that was something he was looking at. Really fast athlete, somebody that could really enhance UF's roster. And if Florida were to pull him away from Florida State, I think Florida fans should really like where they're sitting for pretty much any other head-to-head battle, right? Like it would show that UF really has a leg up on Florida State recruiting-wise, and I think that it's somebody that they will try hard to pull. The next prospect is elite. But just before we get to him, I want to ask you guys to do me a favor. We've heard from a ton of you that you want me to do a live stream on Thursday evening. Is this the consensus? How does next Thursday sound for you guys? Comment below if that works for you, and we are going to work on doing it if you guys are down. I appreciate the support and I'm really excited to hang out with you guys and see what kind of questions you bring to the table. Next up, let's take a look at Jordan Seton, On3 Industry Rankings top interior offensive lineman in the class of 2024. He is 6'5", 295 pounds out of Washington, D.C. This is interesting because Florida's in a battle with Florida State and others for him. His recruitment's wide open, but it's not that often you see Florida and Florida State going head to head for a guy that's from DC. He was in Gainesville on Wednesday. He was in Tallahassee this week as well. He did an exit interview with Noles 24/7 that was kind of interesting. He said that he has a top 12, which obviously that means his recruitment is wide open. He doesn't have any official visits set because he's trying to work on developing relationships. He wants to see what coaching staff he's the most comfortable with, where he feels like he fits in best with the team before he figures out where he's going to go. So that means that there's a long way to go on this relationship, right? And UF needs to do whatever they can to get him back on campus as much as they can, which there's probably going to be limited opportunities, right? Because he's traveling from a decent distance away to get there. But I love his approach to the recruiting process. He really wants to take his time, get to know the staff, not hurry these visits. And I think that's a really mature way to look at your recruitment. And I love where UF sits here because, as I've talked about in previous visits, UF has 2 offensive line coaches. That is a huge sell to high school players. And not only do they have 2 offensive line coaches, but they have guys with major NFL experience. So that should be a great selling point here. Let's take a look at Jamari Howard next. He's a 4-star cornerback out of Hialeah, Florida, class of 2024. He is a Michigan State commit, okay? He was just at UF last week. We got notice that he is now visiting again this week, so that was a little bit of a surprise. Caught off guard a little bit that he was taking yet another visit. He was at Florida State last week, and we're also hearing that he will go to Tallahassee again after he visits UF. All I can say is that it looks like his Michigan State commitment is shaky. It seems like Florida and Florida State are going head to head here. He is an in-state guy. There is no reason that either one of these schools really should let him leave the state, but particularly Florida. If this is a guy that is a take that your coaching staff wants, you got to pull out all the stops to keep him from leaving the state. It has been reported that at least at one point Florida State was his dream school. but he is clearly giving UF a really good, long, hard look. This is his, he's come back multiple times, right? And at this point, he's come back 2 times in like 6 days. So is this going to come down to Corey Raymond and Patrick Surtain? I honestly like Corey Raymond in this situation. I think Patrick Surtain has good name recognition. I think Raymond has the resume, built back years. And I think that could give UF an advantage here. But this is going to be an absolute war for this kid. And again, another situation where UF can and should come out on top if it ends up coming down to Florida State and Florida. Next up is Chauncey Bowens, 4-star running back out of North Palm Beach, Florida. He's got pretty good size. He's 5'11", 221. But Georgia and Tennessee have recently gotten visits from him. They are pushing hard in this recruitment, and those are 2 schools that are on the rise right now, right? Well, I mean, UGA is on top. So that's some serious competition. I do think it ends up being an SEC battle. But Florida State is also interested as well. I think UF continues to push here, and I think they have an advantage that nobody else has. They have Johnson and Etienne. This is the best sales team for UF that exists. I talked in a video a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week or so ago, where I said that I thought UF had the best running back duo in the SEC, and somebody in the comments wrote, don't be shy. They have the best duo in the nation. And you know what? That's accurate. If you have the best running back duo in the SEC, you probably do have the best running back duo in the nation. What UF staff is doing with those guys is going to pay big dividends in recruiting. Bowens can see himself making it to the top of the conference. He can see himself getting the 100 yards plus a game, because that is what is happening at UF right now with the coaching staff that's there. That talent is being developed. Both of those guys are going to have NFL opportunities because of the coaching that they got at UF, and I think that's the best sales pitch that you can give any recruit. Last player we're really going to dive into is Eddie Pierre-Louis. He is a 4-star interior offensive lineman from my alma mater, Tampa Catholic High School in Tampa. 6'3", 335 pounds. He is a big kid. UF is in a really good spot for him, according at least to what I've been hearing. He was on campus yesterday. He was at Miami earlier this week, and he took visits this month to Texas and Texas A&M as well. Supposedly he's visited UF at least 10 times, and those are the ones that have been documented, right? I would say that he is UF's to lose, but you know how recruiting goes, you know how NIL goes. We can't let up here. Florida has continued to develop a really good offensive line since Napier has gotten to UF. They need to continue to do that. They need to sell the vision here. They need to continue to press about the fact that they have 2 offensive line coaches that do develop talent, that do get guys to the NFL. But I do think that UF probably is in the driver's seat of this one. Here's some really quick news for you. The number 10 ranked linebacker, Chris Jones, is on campus right now. He is from Virginia. Penn State, the Virginia schools, Ohio State, Georgia, all of them are in balls. This is a really big swing that the staff is taking, but it's a needed position. And I like that they're going after talented prospects, even if it might be a long shot. So, if they can develop a relationship here, it'll be interesting to see, if they can maybe move up the totem pole just a little bit. Last but not least, Cameron Franklin. He is in the 5-star range. He's the number 29 player overall, according to On3. He's already a 5-star on 24/7 and Rivals. This is a defensive lineman out of Mississippi. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, they are the team to beat here. But the rest of the SEC is involved: Tennessee, Texas A&M, Bama. He's also been in contact with Florida State as well, but I'm not sure that they really have a whole lot of traction here. And listen, no doubt, this is going to be a tough one. But UF has to be in these battles. It is impressive to see the top defensive line in the country on campus at UF, listening to the sales pitch, seeing what the coaches have to offer. Can UF win these battles? Can they go head-to-head with their biggest rival in the state for 3 guys this weekend and wind up with a clean sweep? Honestly, if they pull 2 out of the 3 listed, it could be massive for the Gators, right? Napier is a good recruiter, and his army is going to help tremendously. But UF has got to close on some of these recruitments that they're in the conversation for. We're going to keep you updated on what's going on and happening as we learn it, so make sure you keep it locked into the channel so that you can get the latest developments. Are you new to the channel? If you missed our video on UF's quarterback battle and something you may not know just yet, go ahead and click right here.